Hello and welcome to eMultiSkills video tutorial. In this video tutorial, we will learn how to enable remote access to Postgres server. So I have listed all the steps in a notepad, and we are going to walk through that followed by a demo. So when you install a PostgreSQL, so by default connection to the Postgre are 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 not enabled. So if you try to access the PostgreSQL server from remote server, you will not be able to access. You will get the message that PSQL could not connect to server connection refused. This is because this is the behavior by default. So if you have to enable the connection to the remote server, you need to make some changes, and in this demo we will see how to make those changes. So in this demo setup we have two server. One is 192.168.1.61, which is my server where Postgre service is running, and the Postgre 12 is running over there. And we have a client with the IP address 1.71. From the client side, we will try to access the Postgre. So let me show you the setup which we have. So this is mobile Xterm. So I'm logged in to mobile Xterm to both the IP addresses. One is 192.168.1.61 and another is 71. So what we are going to do is, in the first step, let us check the status of uh, of the service which is running as of now. So we'll say systemctl status PostgreSQL 12. So you can see that a status is running, and if I have to log into the server, I'll just say sudo su hyphen postgre, and we'll just say PSQL. So this will take me to the prompt on to the local server. So if I say /l, this will list down all the database. So there is a database with the name node 61. So what we will do in this demo is we will try to access all the databases from the remote server. From the remote client. So the client IP address is 192.168.1.71. So how do we connect from the remote server is using PSQL-U. Username is the Postgre-H is, and the host name of the server where Postgre service is running. So we will run this command from the client side. So let me run this. So PSQL-U Postgre-H and the server where Postgre service is running. You can see that could not connect to the server, connection refused. But if I try to ping, this is pingable. The port is open, so everything is fine with that. But there are some settings which are not enabled, so we are not able to access it. So what we will do in this demo is we'll go through the steps. So there are three steps which we need to perform. In the first step, there is a file called as pg_hba.conf where we need to add the client authentication record. And once we open this file using the editor, I will be using vi editor, and this is the location in my case. And there is a section which is IPv4 local connections, and there I will mention host all and the IP address of the client slash subnet and the authentication method. This is the first step which we will do on to the Postgre server. In the second step, we will add it postgresql.conf, and we will search for a parameter called as listen underscore addresses. By default, this is mentioned as localhost. So only the connection from the localhost is allowed. When we have to enable the connection from the remote environment, we have to mention the IP address of the server itself. If you have more IP addresses assigned, so you have to mention all those. So whatever NIC card it is listening, you have to mention the IP address of that. Please make sure that you mention the IP address of the server, not the client. The client IP address is to be mentioned only on pg_hba.conf. In the third step, we'll restart the service. In the fourth step, we will access it using the command prompt. So let's go to the first step. In the first step, let's log into PSQL and say show data underscore directory, and we will find the location where this hba.conf file is located. So you can see I have navigated to that step, and then what we will do is we have to edit that file pghba pg_hba.conf. I'm using the VI editor, and then what you have to do is scroll down till you find IPv4 connections. And here you mention the IP address of your client. So I'll be mentioning it as host all IP address of the client and authentication using MD5. So let me give some spacing. And you can mention like which client it is, or you can mention the list of the IP address or the conditions also, which all are eligible to connect. So we have added the IP address of the client. Then in the next step, what we will do is we will edit PostgreSQL.conf file, and it is in the same location, data directory. And here what we will do is there is a parameter called as listen addresses, which is by default localhost. So you have to replace localhost with the IP address of the server. The IP address of the server where this is running is 192.168.1.61. The IP address of this server itself. Where I'm typing the command, this is the server only. Just save it. And in the third step, what we will do is we have made two changes. We have mentioned the details IP address of the client in hba.conf. And what in the second step, what we have done is we have edited the PostgreSQL.conf, and we have replaced uh, localhost with the IP address of the server. It is not the address of the client, it is address of the server itself. The service is restarted. It is running as expected. Now we will try uh, to fire this command on remote server. So it is psql-u postgre-h. There's prompting for the password. I have mentioned the password for the Postgre user as password only. So you can see that I'm able to log in. And if I say /l, I can see that it is connected to the remote server and a Node 61 database we created, and it is available here now. Or we can try one more step. We can create one more database. So we'll say create a database test now. And this should be visible here, /l. So test now is visible from the remote server. So this is the way we access the Postgre from a remote server. So just to recap, um, we edited pg_hba.conf, and in IPv4 local connections, we mentioned the IP address of the client. And then in step 2, we edited postgresql.conf, and we replaced localhost with the IP address of the server. And then in the third step, we started the Postgre service. And in the fourth step, we tested the remote connections. So this is how we access the Postgre remotely. I hope this is going to help. Stay tuned for another video. Thank you.